Hey, YouTube family, welcome to another edition of the Kevin Strong Show. And in this video, we're going to talk about Amazon versus small businesses and how you, as the average consumer, is actually helping Amazon destroy small business. But before we get into that aspect of the article, please do me a favor. If you like this content, please subscribe, comment, and share because I care. We're going to talk about some common mistakes that small business owners make when they're first launching their product or services that typically lead to failure. And then we're going to get into some research, specifically an article that talks about how Amazon is destroying small business. So without further ado, let's get into this. But as promised, we're going to first start off with talking about some mistakes that a small business owner typically makes when he or she starts their own business that leads to their demise. One of the first one that probably is no surprise to you guys is a financial hurdle or financial hurdles, right? And the primary reason why small businesses fail is a lack of funding or capital. And this happens quite often. They don't adequately know how much money it actually takes to not only start a business, but more importantly, to market, because marketing is the lifeblood of any business, whether you're small or large. A lot of times, owners are just failing companies. They're just less in tune on how much revenue they can generate by sales or products or services. So, what do I mean by that? Owners failing companies are less in tune with how much revenue is generated by sales of products or services. They don't know their acquisition costs to acquire a client, right? All of your fixed income, your marketing, everything that goes into that. How much does it cost you to acquire a client? That's something that's really, really important. On an improvement standpoint, a small business owner, let's say, needs to learn how to manage common financial hurdles. Business owners should, let's say, first establish a realistic budget for company operations and be willing to provide some capital from their own coffers, from their own sources during the startup or during the expansion phase of a said business. Approximately, let's say 67% of small businesses that fail within the first 10 years, according to the Small Business Administration, 95%, I think, fail within the first 5 years for various reasons. A second point of discussion is inadequate management. Okay. So here, another common reason small businesses fail is a lack of business acumen on the part of the management team or business owners. They're just not well equipped to run a business. There's accounting, there's marketing, there's taxes, there's hiring, there's recruiting. There's a lot of things that go on that make up a successful business owner. You just can't have a great product or service and not have all these other skill sets. They're equally important. You can make an argument they're probably more important, and that's probably the reason why that came in at number two. Number three, ineffective small business planning. Small businesses often overlook the importance of effective business planning prior to opening their doors. So, what are some of the things that are important in a business plan? I would say a clear description of the business. Revenue streams should be realistically projected well in advance before you decide to start a business. You don't open up your business and then try to figure out how to make money, right? That's like saying putting the cart before the horse. I would say creating and maintaining a small business plan is the key to running a successful company. And last but not least, the fourth one, I would probably categorize that as a marketing mishap. I would say business owners often fail to prepare for the marketing needs of a company in terms of capital required. I kind of touched based on that throughout this little article here. And prospects reached inaccurate conversion ratio projections, which basically means what's your cost to acquire a client. So without further ado, that's kind of like some things you should think about if you're thinking about owning your own business. I strongly recommend that to someone who's interested in it. And if you have a full-time job, there's nothing wrong with that. There's a lot of businesses that you can transition or start into, I should say, not transition, start into on a part-time basis. There's virtual assistants, they call them VAs. And once you learn how to automate your business, you would be surprised how well you could possibly scale it up and still maintain a full-time job if you choose to do that. There's a very successful gentleman that has a credit repair company on Facebook that has a multi-million dollar credit repair company, and it's all automated. So it can be done. So without further ado, that was the first part of it. Let's talk about how Amazon exploits and undermines small businesses and why breaking it up could revive entrepreneurship. Now, this article comes from Stacy Michelle and Ron Knox of June of last year. And here is the big part of this article. Most Americans believe that Amazon's outsized power is dangerous and must be reined in. A recent poll found that nearly 80% of voters believe Amazon should be subject to greater regulation, and more than half supporting it breaking up. Now, here's the hypocrisy and all that. As I said at the beginning of this video, most of us, yours truly, contribute to this. So it's funny how we as Americans complain about something, but we're actually feeding this beast. So here's some statistics right here to the right here that shows you how they're even cutting into sellers. For every $100 that a seller makes in sales, Amazon's keeping 30% of it. Okay, in fees. It's up from 19 5 years ago. So as you can see here, from 2014, they were keeping 19% out of 100, and now it's up to 30%. And regardless if you have any type of product or services, you probably have some type of online presence. So indirectly or directly, you are competing with Amazon unless you have some type of unique product that doesn't fit within that bucket. Like I kind of specialize in like debt management and loan modification. You can't find services like that on Amazon. And it's not by coincidence. That's why I focus on that. It's going to be very, very difficult, folks, to compete with these folks. I think they're at a point where they're just too big to fail. Let's look over here. There's a quote from the man. When you are small and someone else that is bigger can always come along and take away what you have. So he's basically telling you what his executive mission statement is basically to crush small business. Once again, every time you and I buy something on Amazon, we're feeding into that mission statement right here, right? Smaller is going away, bigger is here to stay, as they say. Look over here to the left. Amazon has cornered the online market, impeding the ability of small businesses to operate independently and blocking them from having direct relationships with customers. That's absolutely true. That's not me chiding Amazon. It's just a business fact. And the fact that they can do some of this stuff in terms of delivering a product within a day or the next day, that's hard to compete with from a small business standpoint. And now they've raised, I think Prime is up to almost $140. I still have it. And most of you who have Prime will probably keep it as well. I don't think that $20 increase is going to force you to not deal with Amazon, because we've become addicted to the expedience and the convenience of shopping online and having it delivered to our doorstep. If the customer is on Amazon as a small business, you have to say, that is where I have to go. Otherwise, we're going to close our doors. So here's somebody that's in the trenches right now that's kind of echoing the same thing that this article is talking about. It's not comfortable feeling knowing that Amazon has people internally specifically looking at us to compete with us. I don't know if you guys know that, but if you have a product or service online on Amazon, they're actually looking at ways to basically cannibalize your business, to do it more efficiently and effectively. So, but once again, it's a hard thing to deal with, because as the consumer dictates your business flow. And as we continue to evolve as a society that we want things quicker and faster and more convenient, it's hard for the small business owner, he or she, to compete with that mindset. Amazon compels sellers to buy its warehousing and shipping services, even though many would get a better deal from other delivery providers, basically forcing you to do business. Is this a monopoly? I'll let you come to your own conclusions when it comes to that. I strongly think that I think you know what the answer is. Okay. And here's a guy, Dennis Johnson, a co-owner of Melville House, a book publisher in New York, right? And basically said, I paid that bribe to Amazon and the books reappeared. So this stuff is really a sad situation for the small business owner. Small businesses make up about or they used to make up about 2/3 of most jobs in America. Those jobs have gone away. A lot of small businesses since the health outbreak of March of 2020 is not coming back. So you're going to see a further decline in a small business presence. And this article is basically saying that Congress needs to do something about this. I think it's a little bit too late. I think that genie's out of the proverbial bottle, so to speak. I just don't see any way where it's going to be done in a meaningful way that's going to allow the small business owner to compete with this monolithic online presence that Amazon has. I just think it's way, way, way too late for that. So that's pretty much the end of this article. It's important, like I say, to keep in mind what's important from a small business standpoint. Try to come up with a unique product and service as we continue to automate as a society, as we continue to evolve as a company. Myself, I'm always looking for creative ways to kind of not compete with the big boys, but more importantly, offer something that's unique. I think people still want to have relationships with their vendors or will have relationships with who they do business with. So it's incumbent upon you, if you are a small business owner, to find creative ways to reach out to your customers, humanize that experience, and gain that loyalty and trust, because in the long run, you want a customer for life. You don't want a customer that's just going to buy from you one time, because that actually increases your marketing costs, right? You really start to lower your marketing costs when you start to develop a referral base. Your sales cycle is shorter and your profit becomes larger. I hope you enjoyed this section of the video, and I also hope you enjoyed this video overall. Once again, if you're enjoying this type of content, please comment, like, and share, because I care. I hope you do too. Please, please, please do me a wonderful favor. Subscribe to this channel and help me grow this channel. Once again, this channel is all about topics you can trust. I stay away from clickbait, and I kind of try to give you the nuts and bolts of things, at least from my perspective, and let you chew on it as well. Have a great, great day. I hope to see you soon. And this was The Kevin Strong Show.